So this is not the first time we have made an Attack on Titan reference in the thumbnail of a YouTube video. We kinda played the Devin Levi angle quite a few times, and I thought that was kinda funny, but here, it's more than appropriate to talk about the Montreal Canadiens and one Juraj Slafkovsky. Because man, have we been starting to see what a Titan this guy can actually be. Now, I'll be very upfront and clear here. This video is not really going to be too deep. We're just going to be going over some comments, talking about some tweets that were posted in regards to Slafkovsky and his game, and what better way to go out there than start this conversation off by acknowledging that he's got 42 points in 74 games this season. He's on pace for about 47 points in the span of a full 82, and if you look at the recent stints, I mean, the guy has 4 points in his last 5, 9 points in his last 10. He's been very good as of late, and if you look at the game log, I mean, there was just a really long point streak that Slafkovsky is coming off of, that in which was shut down in the Carolina game because, of course, the Canadiens didn't score a goal in that one, so Slafkovsky's point streak obviously didn't continue. But he had an assist against the Florida Panthers yesterday as well. The Canadiens smoked the Cats 5-3. I think it was their first win against an Atlantic Division team in like a month, something crazy like that. But either way, this video is going to go over a few comments made by different insiders and from Slafkovsky himself, as well as acknowledging the conversations going on online. Like this one, for example. Gino Manager on Twitter went out there and said this, that during their 19-year-old seasons, Juraj Slafkovsky, ever since being moved to the first line and first power play, is at a .81 points per game. Austin Matthews at 19 had a .84. Be very careful about Leafsnet media narratives that call one a bust and one a generational talent. This was posted just a few hours ago, but it's already garnered 100,000 views, and a lot of people just kind of exposing the arguments. Oh yeah, no, Matthews and Slafkovsky, why are you going out there and comparing them? I don't think this post is really saying anything about how Slafkovsky is as good or better or whatever. It's just saying the numbers are pretty similar. That's it. And I think that's a pretty cool thing to acknowledge, especially for Canadiens fans that have been a lot more bearish on Slafkovsky over the years. Hey, this guy has been pretty good, and there is reason to be excited. There's a lot of conversations in the comments of this tweet saying, yeah, like, Matthews is a lot better, yada yada yada, but we'll just move on from this conversation for now. Let's go out there and read some comments made by other people in the Canadiens organization in regards to Slafkovsky. Starting out with Arbor. He said this earlier today in practice that Slafkovsky's a strong kid. I know he's young, but he's an absolute horse. He's strong, and he's going to defend himself every single time he can. I think that's exactly what he needs to do. Now, yesterday, during the game against the Florida Panthers, there were a few physical altercations. There was a thing with Ekblad. There was a sandwich hit with Arbor, which was awesome to see. But Marty St. Louis had this to say about Slafkovsky post-game. My favorite thing from Slafkovsky as a first overall pick is that it's not about himself. And it's rare that you can see that at that age. He's very selfless in that sense. He really cares about the guys around him. He cares about the team, and he wants to win. That's a pretty big leader right there. And I know he's only 19 years old, but there still is a lot to look forward to when it comes to this kind of growth out of a guy who is so young, so selfless, and who really wants to see his guys around him do well. We've been seeing this the past few months, that Slafkovsky is a player's player. He likes a lot of the guys in the room like him. They're always standing up for each other, and this culture that the Canadiens have developed, I don't want to say it's completely a product of Canadiens of the past, but a lot of this does feel like that Shea Weber leadership leaving some residue within the organization and what these guys have been able to see. So that's awesome. Love to see what Juraj Slafkovsky has been garnering in terms of on-ice support, not just with the points, but just from a perspective of his teammates adoring him. And when it comes to some of these comments, I mean, this is what he said in regards to flipping Aaron Ekblad over in the first period. I'm also big too, so it's not a problem. There you go, yeah, acknowledging the physical tools, that's what we like to see. Not saying that we need Slafkovsky to become a bruiser or anything, but just knowing what he's got. That's a pretty important thing as well. There also were some more comments from Slafkovsky posted by Priyanka Emirates on Twitter, so big shout out over to her. This is what Juraj Slafkovsky said on his tussle with Aaron Ekblad in the first period. He, cheap shot me right after. I mean, the puck was on the ice, so I'll go for it every time. And if he does that, then I won't let him do it to myself, so I'll be fighting until the referee jumps in. That is some spirit right there. Who would have seen this a year ago when Slafkovsky was drafted? A lot of people said, oh yeah, he's a power forward, he's a big dude, but he doesn't play like a big dude. He doesn't play like a big brute force out there. And even now, it's not like he does that all the time, but just knowing that that skill set exists in his game and that he's not afraid to pull it out, and he's not afraid to justify it in the media either. That's a big ballsy move right there. And for someone who is as big as he is, he's learning how to choose when to use it. He also said that Arber Xhekaj and Josh Anderson have given him some pointers on how to handle himself physically. I talked with them, and they told me that they can help me. I'm just trying to do my thing out there. At the end of the day, no one else is going to do it for me. What an amazing attitude this guy has, right? He knows he's the first overall pick. He knows that in a perfect world, he should be one of the best players on the team. But he is saying, hey, I'm not gonna let anybody take the fall for me. I need to be the one to stand up for myself physically, especially since I'm big. So, learning what he's got to do to get that done, you know? Respect. Big respect. He's a titan in the making. He pretty much said here that, yeah, talking to guys like Arber and Andy, and if they're doing it, I have a big body, so I might as well do it too. Slafkovsky also talked about the sandwich hit with Arber Xhekaj. I saw Arber was coming, and I was already going there, so I thought it might be good going down here, but I wasn't in the middle of the sandwich hit, so I was good. So at the end of the day, there's so much that's going on here for Juraj Slafkovsky, developing himself physically, becoming a titan, a warrior of a hockey player, to go alongside of his point production. Now that the season is coming to an end, it's weird because we're starting to see Slafkovsky improve his physicality as the year goes on. Normally you see players sort of take a little bit of a lull period at this point in the season, especially if they're a playoff team. If you know you're making the playoffs, you already got that X beside your name, then a lot of people will start to slow down a little bit. You'll see a few teams going into slumps here and there, and then in the postseason, that's when things ramp up again. But for these non-playoff teams, this seems to be the best case scenario, I feel, because it gives Canadiens fans a showcase of what's to come out of Juraj. Again, not saying that he's going to become Eric Lindros 2.0 with his physicality. He's not going to become Ovi with the pure power forward drive to the net physicality style, but just seeing that he does have that in him, especially at this young of an age, is going to be great for Canadiens fans who are trying to see more out of that in the future. I get it, Canadiens fans love their small guys, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, all the extra prospects that have made themselves known over the years. Small players are usually pretty skilled when it comes to what they have over their bigger counterparts, but for Juraj Slafkovsky to show off that, hey, big guys have skill too. They have their own idiosyncrasies that separate them from the smaller dudes. And when it comes to Slafkovsky, I mean, this could be the force that defends a Nick Suzuki when Suzuki gets tussled with, that defends a Cole Caulfield when Caulfield gets a little too close to the back door and somebody doesn't like that. Slafkovsky could be the point producer as well as the brute that helps them out. And that is something I did not expect to see this year. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about how Juraj Slafkovsky has really boded himself well the past little while, and what are your opinions as to how everything's going to go moving forward. Thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99, and bye.